What we are witnessing today across the United States is the collapse of our culture. This is not going to end well. Let's get into it. Hey freethinkers, Chandler here, and honestly, the stories of today are going to give you an emotional roller coaster because it's going to start off really dipping down and you're going to be like, dang, they did that? But we may pick it up a little bit later on as you see the sort of resistance that's happening. But let's just jump right into it. This first story for today is well, it's pretty insane. As you can see, Kyrie Irving will not play or practice with the Brooklyn Nets due to his vaccination status. Now, you guys may have heard rather recently that a few NBA players and sports players overall have been coming out against the vaccine mandates that their various teams and leagues have been placing upon them. One of the most major of these being Kyrie Irving, who said that, you know, the vaccine mess, it's none of y'all's business. Nobody should be inquiring to him as to his vaccination status, nor should anybody be forcing him, which, I mean, a few years ago wouldn't be a very crazy thing to say, but now with this entirely politicized virus and exclusively politicized vaccine, it makes sense. But let's see what's happening here. Brooklyn Nets general manager Sean Marks has confirmed Kyrie Irving will not play or practice with the team until he is eligible to be a full participant. That's a direct quote right there, a full participant. As issues relating to the star guard's vaccination status continue. On Friday, a New York City Hall official told CNN that Irving will be allowed to practice at the team's facility, but will not be eligible to play in the Nets' home games at Barclays Center due to the city's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. So yes, you heard that right. He actually can practice at their private facilities, but he can't play at their own stadium because of the city's rules over vaccine status. Let me tell you something, that's a headline you wouldn't expect to be reading a few years ago, but like I said, entirely politicized virus and exclusively politicized vaccine. This is nothing but politics and nothing but power. I mean, we saw with what Andrew Cuomo was doing. He wants to literally drive up to your house and take you to a facility and get that vaccine in your arm. I put that in my song, man. So it's pretty obvious this is all reaching a rather insane sort of foothold, but it's only getting worse. Head coach Steve Nash has admitted that his team will be without Irving for foreseeable home games, but Mark said the Nets would not allow a member of the team to be part-time. Kyrie has made a personal choice, and we respect his individual right to choose, Mark said in a statement. Currently, the choice restricts his ability to be a full-time member of the team, and we will not permit any member of our team to participate with part-time availability. So it's obvious that they had a choice here to include him as much as they could, so I think that includes away games and include him in continuing in practices and things like that. It was just the home games that he was banned from doing, and that's from the city government. That's from the municipal government there in New York City, which, I mean, we obviously know how crazy they are over there. I mean, they have people queuing up outside of restaurants and having to eat on the streets instead. And we've been seeing the vaccine mandate protests that have been happening up there, so it's obvious that there's plenty of civil disobedience. So I wonder if this whole Kyrie Irving thing will change anything about that. But, I mean, the head coach there, what was his name? Steve Nash has made the choice. And he's saying we respect Kyrie's personal choice, but Steve Nash is the one that made the choice to say Kyrie can't play in any of the other games, which is going to send waves through the entire sports community. And you have to keep in mind, these are usually very individualistic people. I mean, we can look at those LeBron Jameses and people like that and say, okay, well, maybe, I mean, he falls under the boot of China. But somebody like Kyrie Irving, who's made the personal choice not to be vaccinated because of his health and the things he said during his, what do we call them, conferences? He is not allowed to have that choice. And you can imagine the other NBA stars who have yet to say anything about it but want to make the exact same personal choice. This could be an entire wave, and that sort of brings us along to the next story. But before we continue on, I do want to check in and see what Kyrie Irving tweeted on Twitter, because this was, well, it was absolutely insane. He said, "I am protected by God, and so are my people. We stand together." Now this, I believe, comes before Kyrie Irving was barred from playing on his team, because this was a story from today, October 12th. So he tweeted this on October 9th. He places his health and his faith in God, and he says, "We stand together." Well, we all are going to have to know something about standing together, because now 4.3 million Americans have quit their job in the month that is August. Now, of course, there can be plenty of different reasons about this, but you also have to remember it was August that President Joe Biden instituted his massive vaccine mandate, which states that many, possibly most companies that have employees over about, I believe it was 100 or so employees, they are going to be required to mandate that all of their employees be vaccinated or be tested twice or so a week, or they will be fined a lot of money. I believe it was $14,000 per employee, but it was going to be so wide-reaching that nearly 100 million employed Americans were going to be affected by this, which is nearly the majority, or if not the majority, of our workforce in this nation. And we are already seeing the repercussions of it. 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in August. And I believe that's probably the highest amount we have seen in a long time of people that have quit their jobs in such a small period of time, at least since the recession. And those were layoffs more than anything. And I mean, we've got people in the comments saying, what is everybody doing for money? Funny comments. I mean, name's Joe, but my friends call me Brandon. I mean, hey, there's a lot of civil disobedience against all this, and a lot of people are standing up. And tying further into this entire individualistic idea, the only people that really compare it to basketball players and their individuality and, well, I would say importance, but basketball players aren't very important, but we have pilots. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard, but there's been a major story happening in that Southwest has had to ground over 1,000 flights in the last 2 days for reasons they stated as weather conditions. Although if you take a good look at a weather map in the last 48 to 72 hours, you can see that there have been no major storms, no major snowstorms that would halt any flights, and basically clear skies across the entire United States. So Southwest is either being affected by storms that nobody else is affected by, or they're lying. And I think we all know the truth. And so what has happened is that Southwest has instituted a vaccine mandate for their pilots. So if you are not vaccinated by a certain date, and I'd have to look up what the date is, but it's an upcoming date rather soon, I believe in the next month or so, you will not be able to continue flying. And so what Southwest pilots did is that they banded together and have not come into work. They have done something called, I believe it's a sick out, although a way more marketable term is the hashtag Freedom Flu. So they've all caught the Freedom Flu, and this isn't just the pilots either. Entire air traffic control stations, and I believe in Jacksonville and one other city, have been vacanted. So all of the air traffic control staff have left their posts, essentially grounding an entire airport and shutting it down. But here's what Southwest CEO had to say about what was happening with these vaccine mandates. He finally came out and had something to say about it. So let's check in and see.
I've never been in favor of corporations imposing that kind of a mandate. I'm not in favor of that, never have been. But the executive order from President Biden mandates that all federal employees and then all federal contractors, which covers all the major airlines, have to have a mandate, a vaccine in place by December the 8th. So we're working through that. I've never been.
So it sounds like Southwest CEO, and I didn't get his name here, Southwest, okay, I guess it's not listed here, but the CEO of Southwest Airlines is saying it's not our mandate, it's the federal government. They're the ones who are implanting this over our field, over our pilots, and so we're just kind of caught in the middle. And I'd say, you know what, yeah, Southwest, you are caught in the middle. However, there's something very easy you can do, and of course Jack Posobiec is saying Biden's executive order affects federal employees and federal contractors only, not all companies over 100 like he keeps talking about. So apparently Joe Biden's just the one that's been lying, but Southwest CEO and Southwest as a company, there's something very easy you can do. You can stand with your pilots, you can stand with your freedom to choose, and you can stand against these insane mandates. And if you wanna protect your bottom line, because as you can see, their stock prices kind of fluctuating over the last couple of days here in this last little section here. It's gone down in the month of October. Here, let's let me bring it back there, because this is the entire year. It's February, March, April. So it was doing pretty good, and then as per usual, kind of dips down after summer ends. But if you look here at the tail beginning of October, their price has been dipping. And of course, year to date and all these, it'll say plus. But if you zoom in really closely, it's going to show that their stock price is essentially in free fall after the things that have been happening. So it's an unfortunate situation for a company like Southwest. And we've been hearing that a few other airlines are going to be receiving very similar hashtag Freedom Flu epidemics. So to every airline and to Southwest in specific, you need to stand up. Or, well, this is what's going to happen. Your pilots are going to stand with freedom. Now, Vinny Johnson posted this and says, "This photo was just sent to me of a grounded Southwest plane flying a Gadsden flag out of the cockpit. The hero pilots at Southwest and other airlines deserve our support. True patriots worthy of the American freedom fighter tradition. Don't tread on me. God bless them." And heck, just like Kyrie Irving said, we stand together. It's something that we are all going to have to do together, because if the government is going to try and place their boots on our heads or place their boots on our necks and make us lick them, well, we have to stand up. We have to stand against that. We have to say, listen, you can do whatever you want. You can say whatever you want, but the blood of patriots runs eternally, and we're going to stand up and fight for our freedoms. Kyrie Irving, he's facing the consequences for it, and there's going to be a lot more people that are going to have to face the consequences. I mean, 4.3 million Americans had to leave their jobs. They made the choice, and I'm sure a good amount of them were probably already vaccinated, but left out of solidarity or left because their jobs were still had the masks and still had plenty of other things like that. We have gone through so much tyranny in the last year or so that we've had enough. They've exhausted their ability to lie to us, and they've exhausted their ability to keep us on the ground. We're standing up. We're getting out of that chokehold, and we're going to say, no, enough is enough. We want our freedom back, and we're going to do whatever it takes to have it. So to all the elites, and to Joe Biden specifically, or as he probably thinks by now, Brandon, we're going to stand up. We're going to take our freedom back. And if you don't have anything to say like, well, okay, you know what? Here's what we can do. We can make a compromise. Then we're not going to accept it. We're going to stand up. We're going to fight. We're going to take our freedom back. Thank you guys so much for watching this video here. These days, it's very difficult to create content on YouTube, so if you guys haven't already, make sure you subscribe and join us over on Rumble. It's an amazing platform where we have all sorts of content, and it's uncensorable, which is the very most important thing. So be sure to join us over there, and while you're at it, also make sure you join us over on Locals, which is another amazing platform where we have plenty of content available for you guys, as well as notifications. And if you're interested in supporting me and the content I create, definitely be sure you check out Locals, or be sure to check out our donor box, which is another platform in which you can donate to support our content. If you guys would like to check that out, just go to donorbox.org/support-Chandler to learn more about that. It is very easy to support our work and support my channel. As you guys know, I've been demonetized by YouTube since February, so if you're interested in supporting me, that's how you do it. Aside from all that, I'll catch you next time, free thinkers. Don't forget to spread the virus of intelligence. Peace out.